YouTube family? Welcome back to another video on the CES Motorsport channel. Today we are sitting here with this 45th anniversary Supra. We just wrapped this up. We had a previous video on it. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to tag it right here. Make sure you guys check it out. This car was on the dyno. We put it through the paces. We showed everything that we installed on this car. It is a manual Supra. It's making 840 wheel horsepower on full E85, and it absolutely rips. Now tell me about this color. What do you guys think? Is this for you? Are you into the orange, or is it a little too much? This car also has the PTB clutch. We're going to talk a little bit about that. By far my favorite clutch that I've felt in any of these newer cars to date. The clutch can handle plenty of power. It feels OEM. It has zero noise to it. Definitely the clutch to go to check out. Definitely the clutch to choose if you are looking to increase power while holding that power with an OEM-like clutch feel and not increasing vibration or noise or anything like that. We also have all of these parts listed on our website. As always, let's do a little walk around on the car. Now we do have the NT555s on the rear here to hold the power. 840 wheel horsepower is ridiculous to the rear wheels on the street, you guys. You need to have a tire on the car. It does have full suspension, KW coilovers, the DDC coilovers, the big boys. So amazing coilovers, full SPL package, carbon drive shaft, all kinds of cool stuff. Has a titanium exhaust system. It is loud. You guys, this car is loud, but it sounds really good. It sounds really good. Good looking exhaust too. Really good looking exhaust. So this thing absolutely rips. In this video, you guys are going to see me driving the car for the first time. Anytime we wrap up a build off of the dyno, we like to take it out on the street and see how it drives. We have to make sure that the tune is good through all of the gears. Some will be wide open throttle, some maybe partial throttle. We just want to make sure the car drives good in all situations before we return it to the customer for obvious reasons. Man, I am actually loving this orange. I am not a big orange car guy generally, but I think that this car actually pulls it off quite well. In the exterior of this car, you guys, it's pretty stock. Like, you're not going to see much going on here. Everything is all power and suspension. You know, it's all performance on this car. Whether he's going to do something more down the road, it is a brand new car, so he did deliver this car to us on the truck with hardly any miles on it. Here you go. See that manual interior. I'm telling you, man, the manual Supras are a lot of fun. It's just a different beast overall. Show you guys the engine bay here. Now we do have one change that will happen in the engine bay. We have a carbon fiber engine cover for this car. We're going to be putting that on as well. It does need to be trimmed though to accommodate the EO Speed manifold. So it'll be like a half and half deal. We'll cut it right down the center. Carbon will be on this side, orange on this side. How crazy is that, man? It looks so freaking good. Pure 900 turbo in there, screaming. We like to go with these gigantic K&N filters. Just seem to be the best amount of flow with those. Yeah, this thing is, dude, it rips. This car absolutely rips. So without further ado, let's get into some driving footage. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Do us a favor, make sure you guys like the video, comment down below, share it with all your friends, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys. Let's get into it. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We are putting in some miles on the orange Supra, doing some street testing here. We just wrapped up all of the tuning. This thing is making 840 wheel horsepower on E85. Yeah, pretty pretty insane. So this has the PTB clutch. It's obviously the manual Supra that we just wrapped up. It's got the Pure 900. Absolute killer car. I mean, this package that we set up for this car is just insane. Full SPL package, KW coilovers. I mean, the whole gamut. This guy went all in. He did it the right way. He wanted to make power. He wanted to be able to control the car properly, and that was why we set him up with the package that we did. Also, it sounds freaking sick. I mean, good luck getting traction. 840 wheel. It is nuts. Let's see how this car handles. Oh yeah, man, it's super nice. That blow-off valve. Super good handling. Very tight. Yeah, wow. Wow. He is going to love this car. I mean, it's definitely going to need some big tires to handle the amount of power, but having 840 wheel horsepower is ridiculous, especially in this little car. I'm still getting used to it. Now let me talk. I mean, dude, I can't even go full throttle. It's just it's too much. It's too much. It's insane, absolutely insane. So one thing we will discuss right off the bat, and I remember this when I drove the black Supra we did, had a very similar setup to this car. I believe that one had a pure 800, or maybe it was a pure 900, I can't remember. But it had the same clutch, which is the PTB clutch. Now this one has the PTB clutch with the carbon drive shaft. This clutch is incredible. If you are looking for an uprated clutch that can handle more power in any of these cars, but it gives you an OEM feel, this is the clutch. Now I have a DKM clutch in my 135, and I'm not sure if the PTB guys make one for that car, but I want to switch it out to the PTB. It's just so much better, and there's no chattering. There's no chattering. All of these other clutches that these people make, they're loud. You just hear this clutch chatter so often. And the feeling of just having like an OEM clutch that's gonna handle more power and it's not gonna make a bunch of new noise for you, it's the way to go. So yeah, I definitely highly recommend you guys check that out. This car sounds crazy. It's got a full titanium exhaust. I mean, I can't even give it the full beans, man. It's just, it's too much for the street. It's too much for the street. But what an awesome car. Now I will say this suspension is pretty stiff. We can adjust some things, which we'll probably have to, because it's a little tight. On track, it would be like amazing. You know, you want it to be this stiff, you want it to be this tight, but for the street, might be a little much. Feels great though, really. So yeah, this one turned out really, really good. I'm trying to think of what all the numbers were. I have them in here in my notes. 840 on full E85, 700 on E-blend, and 585 on 93. Dude, 585 on 93. Like, 93 is gonna be enough, you know, especially for the street. But 840 is crazy, man. That's a different beast. Like we built a built motor S55, I don't know, it was like a year ago, in an M4, and that had 900 wheel. And it was just so much power for the street. It's like very difficult to use that power. Even when you get onto the freeways and stuff like that, it's just a lot, you know what I mean? So you gotta be realistic about power you're making. I mean, all spin, right? I mean, you're not going anywhere. You're just gonna spin. So yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's fun, but you're just gonna spin. Car sounds amazing, man. Sounds so good. Definitely gonna be loud from the outside. I can tell if it's this loud in here, it's gotta be screaming outside. So this is really the last little bit that we're doing with this car. Ultimately, this car is going to be going back to the owner, and we've had this one for a little while now. We just wanted to make sure that everything was really, really good. Like, we dyno test these cars, tune them on the dyno, and then we take them out on the street and we test them in the street. And you have to do that if you want the car to just operate the correct way in all environments, in all scenarios, and not just be a dyno, you know, a dyno queen hitting numbers and just, you know, never see the street. So, like, quarter throttle, dude, it's just rips. It's so crazy. So crazy. So this car is definitely going to be one that, you know, you're not going to get its full potential unless you're at like a prepped track. It's just so much power. And as fun as that is for the street, it's just it's a bit much. It might be a bit much, but it's an absolute blast to drive for sure. Absolute blast to drive. Sometimes I forget what it's like being in a Supra. What's up, dude? Putting in a little some miles on the Supra.
I got you.
First street test, it drives so good.
I know that car.
Later, bro. Sounds crazy. That's one of our customers, Sean. He's got a couple of cars that he brings to us, but it's always great seeing them out and about. Yeah, man, this thing's wicked. So I just basically wanted to take this car out and kind of talk to you guys about it a little bit. This is my first time driving the car with all of the new power. I drove the car when it was basically stock, and I've obviously, you know, had a few of these in my hands, and I've been able to drive them at different power levels. I think this one is the most amount of power that I've experienced in a Supra, especially a manual Supra. I have not had a manual Supra with this much power in my hands before, and it's, dude, it rips. It rips. It's definitely, it'll humble you. You gotta be careful when you're driving these cars, because especially on the street, because they're you know, rear wheel drive with that much power, you can get yourself into some problems. And these cars like to whip out, like, pause. They like to get sideways quick. So, but yeah, this one feels really good. I really hope the owner enjoys it. And yeah, I mean, it's the great thing about what we do is, like, he can literally just bring us the car. It's turnkey. He brought this car completely stock to us. It came in on the truck, 100% stock, hardly any miles on the car. And he told us what he wanted. We delivered, and the rest is history. So now we just make sure it drives good and we go from there. Yeah, this clutch is definitely one you guys got to check out if you're interested in getting some more power. So I know that we've done this clutch on G8X platform and the Supra platform. Those are the two that we've tested it on, and in both of these platforms, this clutch has performed so well. And there's a lot of options that you guys can choose between when you're building out these clutches. We'll go over a lot of that later in this video, but you can really customize the clutch to what you need. We have them all available on our website. You can check it out, cesmotorsport.com. And yeah, it's kind of like an essential piece to really building these cars out to this level. If you have a manual car, you got to get a clutch that can handle the power. And the big problem that we faced a lot with the previous clutches that we used is they either just made too much noise, or they just had issues like down the road, like small little things, but you just had to keep messing with the clutch to make it work properly, and that's just not going to work, you know. So we finally landed on these, and it's just been such a fantastic product. Like, we've had no problems with them. They feel really good. Like, you don't have a big heavy clutch. So that's something that comes along with some of these clutches. Like, they're just so freaking heavy. But not with this one. The orange is kind of crazy. What do you guys think about that? Like, come on. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Oh, man. KW and SPL, that combination together is just, man, it's perfect. Everything is tightened up in this car. It's another thing that I should probably mention, you know, when you go to these power levels, you really need to tighten up the suspension. Like, if this car only had springs at this power level, it would be a problem, 100%. Like, you need to be able to control the squat, you need to be able to control how this car is going, the side-to-side motion and the float. I mean, that all of that needs to be controlled at these power levels, because that's really how you're gonna lose control of the vehicle when you're at 800 and some wheel horsepower, you know? Things need to be tight, really, really tight. So it's about finding that balance between a good, like, street driving car, but also a really nice, like, tight suspension setup. You don't want to make it too uncomfortable for street, you know? Yeah, this thing, I mean, it's like a snake. The way it's like on rails. That was one thing when I had my Supra that I remember just being, you know, not my favorite part about this car, and it's really just the geometry. It just had a lot of goofy float to it. When even at the power levels I was at, I was only at like 600 wheel. And when you would get on it, the car would just seem to have a lot of really weird, like, float, because all of that power is going to the back wheels. The car will just lean back and then have not much control. Well, when you have a stiffer suspension setup, you know, you're not just putting everything to the back. It's a little bit more controllable. It's not just so squatted to the back. With a suspension setup like this, it really is an important factor in building these cars correctly, so you don't end up in trouble and just, you know, putting your car into a ditch. Traction control on, and you're already losing it. I'm telling you, man, you got to be careful with this one. It's a lot of power to be out on the street with. Gotta warm up the tires and get yourself on a prep track. It's probably your best bet. It'll lose grip in fourth. I mean, it's it's that powerful. Listen to it though. Oof! Sounds so good. Sounds really good. Well, one thing is for certain, the new owner is gonna love this car. It's built extremely well. More power than he's ever gonna need. And yeah, I just think he's really gonna be happy with this. I mean, the manual just feels like a good manual. Like, it's not over the top. It's drivable, it's streetable, you know. I would actually really love to feel this car with the 93 tune on it, because you can't have all of 840 wheel horsepower. You know what I mean? It's just too much. This would be more of like a track setup. And I'm willing to bet that with 93 at a little over 500, mid 500s, high 500s, I bet this thing just drives so good. So good. Because you can give it all the gas, you know? And you're not gonna risk losing the car. So good. You guys, I hope you enjoyed that footage. Yeah, like I said, man, 840 wheel horsepower in a street car is pretty insane when you're just dealing with rear wheel drive, especially with the manual. This car is an absolute blast, like total package car. I cannot wait to see the owner's reaction when he drives this for the first time, because it is an absolute beast to drive on the street. But as always, you guys, we appreciate you for watching the video. If you need any products from us, make sure to reach out via our website, www.cesmotorsport.com, or feel free to email us, sales@cesmotorsport.com. We can definitely help you guys out, set you up with your next build package. And as always, all of the products that you guys see in these videos are also on our website. That will wrap this one up. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.